Hello, I'm Rudy McLennan and you are watching Shalom World News. Here are your latest news headlines from around the world. The United Nations General Assembly has adopted a resolution to protect religious sites from threats of violence and destruction. The resolution, which was passed on Thursday the 21st of January, aims to promote a culture of peace and tolerance to safeguard religious sites. The UN Plan of Action to Safeguard Religious Sites, entitled In Unity and Solidarity for Safe and Peaceful Worship, condemns all acts and threats of violence, destruction and degradation of religious sites. The resolution invites all UN member states, affiliated regional and non-governmental organisations and other relevant stakeholders to support UN initiatives that promote tolerance. The text also expresses concern about increases in incidents of racial and religious intolerance, discrimination and related violence, as well as of negative racial and religious stereotyping. The UN resolution includes recommendations for member states to protect the sanctity of religious places and the safety of worshippers by ensuring sustainable peace, stability and security. The text also calls on nations to resolve interreligious conflicts and their contributing factors. A conference to further discuss and implement the resolution will be organised by the Secretary-General. A new poll has indicated that a majority of Americans support greater restrictions on abortion. The findings of the survey, which was carried out by the Marist poll and was funded by the Knights of Columbus, were released on January the 27th. They indicate that over 76% of those polled are in favour of restricting abortion in the country and also oppose using taxpayers' money for funding abortions, both domestically and abroad. 1,173 adults residing in the United States were polled, including respondees who labelled themselves as pro-choice. The study indicated that 70% of Americans oppose abortions of unborn babies diagnosed with Down syndrome. Supreme Knight of the Knights of Columbus, Carl Anderson, spoke on the poll's results, saying, quote, "The American people show consensus and restraint on this issue, and we hope that our elected officials and policymakers will heed this call for unity when there is far too much that divides us in our politics today." With 2 million members, the Knights of Columbus is the largest Catholic fraternal organisation in the world. It was established 130 years ago by Blessed Father Michael J. McGivney. Forgiveness. That was the message of two Catholic parents who recently commemorated the anniversary of the deaths of their 3 children and of their niece, all of whom were killed 1 year ago in a car crash in Oatlands, New South Wales in Australia. A Mass was offered on January the 29th at Our Lady of Lebanon Cathedral in the state to commemorate the anniversary. Daniel and Leila Abdullah's children Anthony, Angelina and Sienna, as well as their niece Veronique Sakr, were killed when a car being driven by a man under the influence of drugs and alcohol mounted the pavement on which the children were walking. The couple responded to the tragedy by publicly forgiving the driver of the vehicle. To honour the memory of the children, as well as to help those suffering from grief and bitterness, Daniel and Leila Abdullah then launched I Forgive Day with the support of the New South Wales Government on the 31st of January. The launch was held at the Royal Botanical Gardens in Sydney and was attended by Prime Minister Scott Morrison and his family. Recounting the tragedy, Mr Morrison said that to hear, quote, words of faith and forgiveness was breathtaking. The event concluded with the prayer of St Francis of Assisi, found in the I Forgive Day website, which also offers support, resources and tools to help people forgive and heal after tragedy. The world's largest human rights rally, the United States March for Life, was held virtually on January the 29th. The event is an annual pro-life march fighting to end abortion. It marks the anniversary of the 1973 US Supreme Court ruling Roe v. Wade, which legalised abortion in the country. This year's event, however, was held in line with coronavirus restrictions on mass gatherings. With the theme Together Strong Life Unites, this year's event saw 60 pro-life leaders from across the United States march from the Museum of the Bible to the Supreme Court. They were led by Gene Mancini, president of the March for Life Education and Defence Fund. The NFL footballer Tim Tebow was this year's event's keynote speaker. Also present at the march were Auxiliary Bishop Joseph Coffey of the Archdiocese for the Military Services, former NFL player Benjamin Watson, and former Planned Parenthood clinic director turned pro-life activist Abby Johnson. Approximately 200 people participated in the 90-minute-long March for Life itself. Grandparents are often forgotten, and we forget this wealth of preserving roots and passing them on. So spoke Pope Francis on January the 31st while announcing his decision to institute an annual World Day for grandparents and the elderly. Recalling the special roles of Jesus' grandparent saints Joachim and Anna, the Holy Father stated that the day would fall on the 4th Sunday of July each year. The Holy Father explained, quote, "The elderly are precious because they sing the praises of God and safeguard the roots of peoples. They remind us that old age is a gift and that grandparents are the link between generations, passing on the experience of life and faith to the young." Marking the first World Day for Grandparents and the Elderly during the Amoris Laetitia Year of the Family, Pope Francis will preside over an evening Mass at St. Peter's Basilica on Sunday, July the 25th this year. Further initiatives to celebrate the day will be announced by the Vatican's Dicastery for Laity, Family and Life. The bishops of the United States have expressed concerns over the US government's decision to rescind the Mexico City policy. The policy bans non-governmental organisations who perform or promote abortion from receiving federal funding. In a statement released on January 28, Archbishop Joseph Naumann, chairman of the US Conference of Catholic Bishops Committee on Pro-Life Activities, and Bishop David Malloy, chairman of the Committee on International Justice and Peace, voiced their opposition to funding abortion around the world with taxpayers' money, describing the decision as grievous. The bishops continued, "To serve our brothers and sisters with respect, it is imperative that care begin with ensuring that the unborn are free from violence, recognising every person as a child of God." Finally, the Bishop of Phoenix, Arizona, Thomas Olmsted, issued a pastoral letter on January 28th, in which he urged the faithful to renew their faith in the Eucharist. The bishop noted his regret at the findings of a 2019 Pew Research Centre survey, which indicated that 69% of Catholics believe the Eucharist to be but a symbol rather than the real presence of Christ. In the letter, the bishop announced his forthcoming apostolic exhortation on the Eucharist, Veneremur Cernui, which will be released on April 1st, 2021, that is, on Holy Thursday. In the apostolic exhortation, the bishop will explore the teachings of the Church on the Eucharist. Bishop Olmsted remarked, "My dear brothers and sisters, faith in the Eucharist is always fruitful when it is cherished and lived. My hope is that our rediscovery of the beauty and truth of the Eucharist might be similarly blessed." And that is all from me for now. We will be back later on this week with your latest news headlines from around the world. Until then, Shalom.